are listening to Rocket Shop Radio Hour on the Radiator at Big Heavy World. I'm your host, Abby BK. And with us in the studio today, we have Kristian Montgomery. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, welcome to the space. It's great to have you. Thanks for making the trek from Manchester.
You're welcome.
Well, we love to kick things off with a song. So, what have you got for us?
This is called Gypsy Girl. She'll take your body but save your soul. She starts off rocking, then she rolls. Then she'll fill your mind with evil thoughts, like the time you had her on the road. You can offer her the world, just don't know that gypsy girl. You can promise diamonds and pearls, just don't love that gypsy girl. It's a kind of love that breaks your balls. Then she'll drown you in some alcohol. You pay a price when you get down. It's a syndicate for days in town. You can offer her the world, just don't love that gypsy girl. You can promise diamonds and pearls, just don't love that gypsy girl. Yeah, just don't love. No, you love that gypsy girl. Yeah, well, alright. Don't you love her? You can offer her the world, just don't love. You can promise diamonds and pearls, just don't love. Doesn't matter, boy or girl, just don't love that gypsy girl.
Gypsy Girl. Awesome. What a great intro.
Thanks.
So I guess just to start out, tell us like a little bit more about your background in music. So when did you start writing music and playing guitar? What are your origins?
Well, I started playing because somebody else in my family was terrible at it. When I was a boy, my grandmother, who I lived with when I was young, my grandparents took me in. My grandmother would bring me to church, and when she sang in church, it was awful. I mean, if you've ever heard like a crow, like right before it passes on into the next world, kind of Ethel Merman like, it was just god awful. So I found that the only way to keep people from staring at us was if I sang louder than her. And my reverend at the time was a tenor for the Boston Pops, and he heard me singing, and he pulled my family aside, knowing, we were of limited resources. We were, tradesmen and fishermen, and gave me free lessons. And he introduced me to the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. And as soon as I heard Led Zeppelin, I was like, this is what I want to do. And he had me do my first solo in church, and I remember closing my eyes and singing, and like after I was done, I opened my eyes and I saw all the girls from my class, staring at me, and I was like, "Yep, this is working. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep going." So I learned how to play guitar and started playing in bars when I was like 13, and doing old Irish tunes and
Mhm.
sea shanties, and that kind of took off from there. And then I joined a rock band, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah,
You know,
totally. So what ended up bringing you to Vermont?
the crazy exes. My wife and I, our second marriages, and we sold our fishing boat and moved up here 5 years ago. I think I just got nominated for the Boston Music Awards and
Mhm.
the New England Music Awards, and things were kind of rolling. And I was like, all right, it's just time to go. And COVID happened, and we just took off and
Mhm.
bought a house in Wallingford, Vermont. And that house recently burned down in February, and now we live in Clarendon, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah,
Farm living. Traded the sea for the land, and
there you
uh,
go.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you've been enjoying it. It is, quite cold here, but, um, we're starting to get into the springtime here in Vermont. Um, so one thing that I was very impressed by is in your bio, you shared that you've released, and I looked through your discography as well, 4 albums in the past 3 years.
It's
Super
now
impressive.
it's
Now an
now
EP as
five.
well.
It's now
Yeah,
5 and 4.
there you go.
So yeah.
You're topping the record. Um, so take us through like how you're able to do that. How often are you finding yourself writing and staying inspired to create?
Um, God, it's so. Um, the reason that I got back into music was it's a sadder story. I was a relatively successful musician when I was very young, and then the rock and roll thing happened. Needless to say, I ended up marrying the wrong woman, and I have children with her. And I was always a very involved parent, wanted to remain involved. And I ended up saying the wrong thing to a judge, and he threw me in county jail for 6 months. My wife and I had reconnected. She was the first girl that I ever kissed,
Mhm.
and so they wanted to make an example of fathers who tried to advocate for their rights in that particular super corrupt system. And so I got out, got in a fist fight, got thrown in solitary confinement.
Oh my gosh.
There was It was crazy. It was just a crazy experience. I had never gotten a speeding ticket before, and I didn't know what contempt of court was. I just thought you could speak your mind. Apparently, you can't. And so 6 months, my wife stuck by me, and as soon as I got out, she said you should start playing again.
Mhm.
And so I hooked up with a couple of musicians that I had played with in the past, and one of my first producers ever, a gentleman named Joe Clapp, who owns Ultrasound Studios just south of Boston, said just come in and just start playing, Chris. And I was going to do 5 songs, and then the first album became 16 songs. And that album is called The Gravel Church. And The Gravel Church was my little area that I was allowed to go out and walk around
Mm.
when they let us out of the cages. And I didn't do anything violent or anything like that. I was honestly just there because I said the wrong thing, which wasn't even the wrong thing. It was just speaking my mind. So the long and short of it is that album, The Gravel Church, started to get some attention, and so I kept writing, and I wrote around the same time we had purchased a fishing boat, and I wrote Prince of Poverty, which was a kind of a homage to people like myself who grew up poor and trying to rise above their status. And that got me nominated for the Music Awards.
Oh wow.
In Boston, and then I released a Heaven for Heretics, which was kind of was a cool album about how everything had kind of changed. Like everybody could kind of be who they wanted to be, live their best life. My daughter Taylor had married a woman, and we look back, kind of all together as a family, and was like, when was this like not supposed to be normal? Like it's just it's normal, and that really kind of caught people's ears, started drawing crowds. Then that was the album that we left Massachusetts from. And I came up here and I met Andrew Koss, whose two clients before me were Alicia Keys and John Legend.
Wow.
So it was a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And, you know, I told him right off the bat, I can't afford you, dude. And he was like, well, I'm going to play drums on it, and I'm going to play a lot of instruments on it. And I just love your songwriting, so let's do this. I think he only charged me like $500 a song. And so we did 12 songs together, and that got me nominated for the awards down in Nashville. And I was like, okay, we're on to something.
Yeah.
And then this past year, I recorded with Vincent Freeman at the studios in Randolph, the Underground Studios. And he, like myself, is a European import. He's from Germany. And so we had this immediate bond of kind of like, all right, you know, we're not Americans, at least not completely. And we recorded 5 songs, and we titled it Prophets of the Apocalypse, which was, you know, the guys in the band were like, I don't know if the album name is cool anymore because, you know, things have gotten better. And then the current political situation happened, and we were like, nope, we're definitely calling it Prophets of the Apocalypse. And that got me, I just won the Americana Artist of the Year at the Listen Up Music Awards over in New York. So Boston, New York, Nashville in the last 4 years since I started playing again. And I'm already planning to do another album with Andrew Koss, I think, this time. So going back to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I figure if I just flood the market with my music, eventually something's got to happen. Like everybody else is like releasing singles and becoming heroes overnight, but I have more of like a slow roll game plan.
Yeah, keep the inspo coming, however it may manifest. So just like on the day to day, like how frequently do you find yourself like coming up with a new idea? I mean, this is a lot of songs that
all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, all the time. The like the littlest thing, like for instance, my next song that I'm going to play is called Somebody's Baby Mama. And it was just a conversation I had with a coworker who's divorced, and he has a young son with her, and she's off having fun, and you know, she's got a boyfriend, and he's just, you know, he's just kind of a fat, miserable guy, and he's kind of given up a little bit, and I tell him all the time, man, like, just get out there. And I'm like, you know, eventually she's gonna come back around again. I'm telling you. And you know, he was he'll tell everybody at work all the time that he was the inspiration for this song.
There you go.
But it's you know, little tiny things happen that it's like, you know, Gypsy Girl. I had written about my wife standing on the bow of the boat one day, and I was like, I can't believe she married me. And, you know, we just wanted to write this love song, you know, and so it's just these kind of, you know, cool little inspirations that happen throughout the day. Yeah. Little things.
Totally.
You know?
Well, I feel like that was the perfect segue into your next song. So why don't you play it?
Okay. Let me liberate all your skin. I know you're tired of living in. Let me be the candle, show you the way out of the darkness and into me. I bet you still taste sweet. Will you somebody's baby mama now? I bet you still taste sweet. Will you somebody's baby mama now? going by. But now you're here for another try. You can take me places and drive Mercedes Benz. Well, it ain't yours yet, paid for by him. I bet you still taste sweet. Will you somebody's baby mama now? I bet you still taste sweet. Will you somebody's baby mama now? I bet you still taste sweet. Bet you still taste sweet. Bet you still taste sweet. But somebody's baby mama now. You're just somebody's baby mama now. Bet you still taste sweet. Bet you still taste sweet. Bet you still taste sweet. But somebody's baby mama now. You're somebody's baby mama now.
Somebody's baby mama. Kristian Montgomery. So in terms of like your writing process, I know that you said that obviously the inspirations can come to you just from happenings in life as they come. But do you find that usually it's like a little tune that comes to you or lyrics? Or are you dabbling on guitar? Does it vary for you? Take us through that process.
Oh, sometimes it's just a phrase,
Mhm.
a melody. Sometimes it's just I have a ton of different bands that I've got to see perform live. That particular song, like for whatever reason, the guitar riff when I was playing it, I was like, God, that's the way Josh Homme would play that riff. Like I'm like, kind of ripping him off a little bit there. But it was sometimes I'll come up with something. I'll hear a similarity in my head, and then I will make damn well sure that I'm not going to
Mhm.
let the song turn out that way. So, and it kind of melody, guitar riffs, harmonies kind of play off each other to create something that just kind of happens organically, I guess.
Mhm.
But lyrical content, that's the one thing that sometimes takes time. I find myself really thinking it over.
Mm.
I don't want to be that guy that just tries to rhyme his way through a tune.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes just the thought,
Mhm.
pops into my head, a memory, and it's all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I'll go home, pick up the guitar, and it's over, and then I have to record it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. Yeah, do you find that it's typically like you kind of have to like get it all down in one kind of sitting, or do you tend to revisit different songs of segments that you've written of songs?
yeah, some songs. I have a song called "Soul for Soul" that wasn't done until I heard somebody play the damn it, the harpsichord.
Mhm.
And I had heard a song by the Blind Boys of Alabama, and that song became complete. After hearing that song, I was like inspired to kind of come up with a very low end, kind of harmony underneath that song, and that combined with the harpsichord made it this very
Mm.
dark and dreary tune. It was kind of in the end, it kind of reminded me of Tori Amos a little bit. It's just it's a sexy song, and I mean that's another thing too about writing songs is
Mhm.
you have to forget about who you are and what you look like or how old you might be now. and just let the song happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think my days of running with the pack, as far as hitting the bars every night with the fellas, are pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
But I can still write songs about it if they happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for me, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I get up. I'm a tradesman, so I wake up and my body hurts. But I can still write a song and pretend and imagine that I'm
Mm-hmm.
still 16 and can do anything and I'm invincible.
Yeah.
You know, but
Totally. Yeah, I like that mentality of just letting the
mm,
songs kind of take shape the way that they naturally
yeah,
flow.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, it shouldn't matter like what your identity is. You should be able to write about anything. Um, so obviously you're writing like a bunch of tunes. When
yeah.
it comes to just like whittling down which ones you want to choose to actually release and even deciding like which project to release them on. What does that process look like for you? I imagine it must be difficult if you have so much material.
It is, and and um, it's also this the last 5 songs that I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real collaboration. Like the bass player that I have now, his name's Jake Hill, and he and I write very well together. It's the first band I've been in a long time where we just work so well together. My guitar player John Clark and drummer James Pesler, we're kind of all on the same page. So as far as like the eye contact during the writing process and like kind of looking at each other for key changes and
Mm-hmm.
has been so cool
Mm-hmm.
to and it's just been fun. And they'll be the first ones to tell me if something sucks. They'll be like, "That's just terrible," or "That's just cheesy," or "No, I'm not going to." I'm not going to sing that. That's stupid. um, but yeah, it's just a matter now of a local politic of 4 guys in a band saying, "What do you think? Does this have potential?" Or we throw ideas at each other constantly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really cool app called Dolby One on the phones now, where you can do a recording of a vocal and a guitar, and it sounds crystal clear. It's great.
Mm.
So we send stuff to each other all the time,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's nice that you have a
Yeah.
crew that's working together well. Um, so in terms of like how you kind of like bring the songs to them, I'm assuming that how like flushed out do you have them when you bring them to your band? Um,
Not flushed out at all.
mhm.
There's always room. Like we have a new song called "Cold Day in Hell" on the new EP, "Prophets of the Apocalypse," that just came out in March. And Jake came up to me and sang the chorus. He goes, "I like this. Can you work with it?" And I did.
Mhm.
Kind of came up with it, and he had written a bass line that to me kind of sounded like the bass line from Michael Jackson's "Beat It."
Mm.
And after we made fun of him for that for a little while, like he modified it, and then it became like you could still tell it's there,
Mhm.
but it's ours now.
Yeah.
You but sometimes it's a finished song. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes I'll record it with Andrew and
Mhm.
then say, "Hey guys, we're playing this song now."
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah,
Yeah. Totally. And so obviously you've released like some bigger projects with like 15-ish songs on them. But I did notice that you've been releasing, like I know this newest project is an EP, so a
yeah.
little bit shorter, 5 songs. Um, is there any kind of reasoning why you kind of decided to do something more condensed? I know it's kind of, I feel like trendy these days. I feel like a lot of people are focusing on like the singles and smaller projects.
Yeah.
What was your like thinking along those lines?
So I prefer albums. Like
Mm-hmm.
singles have their time and place, and for movie soundtracks or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But when you if you take 2024, everybody had ups and downs, and an album can capture
Mm-hmm.
all the ups and downs, where a single is just a moment in time.
Right.
But when you write an album, I mean, there's this. You might have lost somebody. You might
Mm-hmm.
have fallen in love. You might have hurt yourself. You might have been depressed. You might have been manic. There's so many different things that happen, and to be able to, for me to be able to give the world something that's going to last forever and say, this is my 2024.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
Yeah.
You know, maybe you're going to relate to it, maybe you're not. But I've always appreciated stuff like that because I know that if somebody was really, really depressed, that next song is going to be about them and how they rose out of it and overcame it and got by.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a single, you're just going to wallow in it forever.
Yeah. Right.
So, an album gives you the opportunity to let everybody know that you're over that shit now. You know,
You're okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, totally. It allows for some more storytelling as well.
yeah.
So you mentioned that you are like already working on the next project.
Yeah.
So can you take us through like what that will look like? Any fun spoilers you could provide to everyone listening?
Yeah, we have we started working on the first single. It's not completely done yet. It's called "Don't Be Afraid to Be Born." It's about this kind of opposition to a heaven for heretics, where everybody's kind of we're just moving backwards in time. You know, I have some people I'm close to who are, you know, transgender. And one of my very good friends, Kristian, is a helicopter pilot for WBZ and owns Bumblebee Radio in Boston. And she's one of the most supportive people when it comes to independent art, and has such a good ear for it. You know, it just so happens that, you know, she was born a man and felt like she wasn't one. And I'm one of those people who, I'm a huge defender of the underdog. And being a 6'2", 250-pound Dane, it puts me in a position to defend the underdog. This is the next album is going to be about defending those people, and it's going to be about letting my friends know that I've got their back no matter what. And if somebody gives them a hard time, you know, we'll have the ships ready.
I love that messaging. I feel like we need that in the days that are today.
Yeah.
In these crazy times. So, yeah, it seems very topical, and I can understand why you'd feel inspired to write on those topics.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is if you're going to have friends, if you're going to have, if you're going to associate with other people, and I have a very difficult time with it. I mean, people will tell you all the time, I write songs to try to connect to a world that I have a really hard time relating to. You know, I'm on the spectrum a little bit here, but I decided a long time ago that if I was going to interact with other people, I was just going to make friends, and I'm going to just not make any enemies. You know, it's that old Buddhist tenet of if you can't do any good, don't do any harm.
Yeah.
But there's so much good to be done that I figured, you know, might as well do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great mentality to have. But we would love to hear your third song of the night. So
Okay.
What have you got?
This is called That Kind of Love. And it's neat to be able to take the word Appalachian and fit it into a lyric and make it like fluid. It's hard, but I pulled it off. But it's a cool tune. I hope you like it. Shotguns and moonshine, you'll take your vows today. Those Appalachian girls all know what to say. And if you cross that line, you'll reap what you sow. that the mountain's your mother. That girl wants you home. the dirt. That kind of love could kill a man, they say. That kind of love could make a coward brave.
That kind of love. Love it. So just before that, we were talking a little bit about your like new project in the works.
Yeah.
So do you know like about how many songs you're thinking for this one?
Oh,
Is
we're
it
gonna
a
do
bigger
10.
album? Okay.
We're gonna do 10.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah.
maybe more. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. So are you planning on having your bandmates be a part of the like recorded tracks for the new project? Or I
Oh
know,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know that you had mentioned that you were thinking of also working with the producer. So are you thinking of doing a mix of those two?
Well, no. We're going to get together and write all this stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, we've got some pretty cool ideas going on so
Yeah.
far. Andrew's a really good producer. He did my album Lower County Outlaw,
Mhm.
and he played on a lot of it. James is a solid drummer too, and he'll beat me up if he doesn't get to play on it. So
Yeah, totally.
he's from Jersey. He's got some anger issues, and I'm afraid of him, honestly.
Yeah. Better
So,
let him play.
so he'll play, and the other fellas they'll play too. It's hard playing with John and Jake in as far as like scheduling because they
Mhm.
are so like in demand for session work and they play in cover bands and all sorts of other stuff that
Mhm.
it's I'm always trying to track them down and get in rehearsals, but
Yeah.
so far so good.
Yeah.
You know,
So what does like the rehearsing look like for you? How often are you meeting with at least some of your bandmates and fleshing these out?
we rehearse at my guitar player's house in Dorset, and it's usually like it's when you are an original band, you find yourself struggling to keep your chops up on the songs you already have
Yeah.
and trying to write new ones.
Mhm.
So that's the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
And it's usually like we'll be halfway through rehearsing a set for the next show and somebody will go, oh, hey guys, oh, I almost forgot. You guys got to hear this. And then it's very childish. We're very, like we get in there and we turn into 6-year-olds who are playing with our Tonka trucks. It's like, and we're it's the camaraderie is just awesome. I mean, it's kind of cool when you're creating this stuff with people. To me, it makes your friendship stronger, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
But Jake Hill and John wanted to call the next album PTP. And I immediately said no. I don't know what it means. I'm sure it's inappropriate. They keep coming up with all sorts of cool like 80s lines that I refuse to entertain.
Incorporate.
But it's gonna be, I can guarantee people that it's definitely going to be even more guitar oriented and even more 70s rock,
Cool.
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah.
And what has like the gigging scene looked like for you recently in Vermont?
So we're trying to turn this place called the Roundhouse in Manchester into a rock
Mm,
mecca. It's just a cool room. It sounds great. It
mm,
needs a better PA, and some more, and you know, I guess PR. It needs a public relations person.
there you
We need
go.
um, the mountains like Stratton and Killington are so overwhelmed by cover bands that it's hard to get original acts in there. And when
Hmm.
you do, they're like nostalgia acts. And we're trying to find ways to promote original music. The band Honey from Rutland that we just played with, they've got some great stuff. They kind of
Hmm.
remind me of Blind Melon a little bit.
Mm,
Um, you know, they're solid rock outfit. Um, but I mean, I just played at the Roundhouse a couple weeks ago, the Southern Vermont Arts Center. Um, I played over in Queensbury last weekend, doing an acoustic thing. It was cool. It was sold out. Um,
nice.
and But other than that, it's a struggle, to be
Mm,
honest. I'd like to be playing every weekend,
hmm.
but it's been hard. So
Yeah. And are you like hoping to kind of like, I know that you want to kind of like grow that venue and grow like the scene in Manchester, but um I mean, it just makes me think like I feel like there's so many places to play here in Burlington and what like we'd love
yep,
to have you, I'm sure.
I'm trying. I've
Yeah.
reached out to Lily's. Is that
Lily's Pad.
yeah, Lily's
Oh my
Pad.
gosh, yes, our
I've
friends, the Champlain Shoregasm.
yeah, I
They that's their place. It's awesome.
yeah, I've reached out to a bunch of folks and
Mm.
said, "Hey, I probably won't try anybody, but I'd love to come play there. I don't
Yeah.
know anybody in Burlington yet, but
Yeah.
you know,
Totally. I mean, just keep reaching out. I know there's like a lot of venues. Radio Bean, Arts
yeah,
Riot down the street is now kind of back up in action. So, um, yeah, is that something that you're like hoping to do too? Like expanding your
I yeah, I'd like to give
reach?
up my day job and just start playing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and
Hmm.
the job that I have, I'm still working in construction,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's not conducive to that.
Right.
So it's kind of weird that going on tour or playing music full time would actually extend my life.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not too many people would say that, but for me, it's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
hard work
yeah,
for sure.
uh,
Um, Awesome. Well, we're coming down to like the last 5 minutes. So before we play your last song, we always just like to give our guests like the chance to promote any of the upcoming gigs that you have and how best to support you and find your music, and all that jazz. So the floor is yours just to give us the rundown and let us know.
so I don't have anything booked coming up until June, and and I'm not quite sure what those events are yet. But I know there's one of them is it's like called the Trout Festival in New York,
Mm.
and then we've got a couple of other. I know that um, Music Day Vermont or whatever it is
Oh yeah,
there.
Make Music Day.
Make
Hmm.
Music Day. We have something booked for that, and
Nice.
but I think that's in another one in Saratoga.
Mm.
Um, but just check out our socials. We're all over the interwebs and our YouTube page. It's I've found that when people do find our YouTube page, it's like they say, "Holy crap! I didn't know you were." They're like, "This is actually pretty good."
Hmm.
Like, um, but it's we're slowly but surely rolling out videos and all that other stuff whilst trying to record and
Yeah.
um, but that's just I guess the way people can support us is that same thing that everybody always says at the end of every show is, "Hey, follow us on our socials,"
Hmm.
and you know um, that's the best we could do for now.
Totally.
If you see a show in your area, definitely show up.
Hmm.
You know, but yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, well, everyone stay tuned for upcoming gigs and take a listen to all of the tracks that we won't hear tonight because we only have 4 songs, unfortunately. So make sure to give it a listen in your free time. But yeah, we have one last song tonight. So what will be your
Uh,
final tune?
this is called "Leaving Texas." It's it's a song about escape. I have my cousin Inga and Thor in Houston. Inga and Thor Peterson. Inga is a right wing Republican truck driver, and her brother Thor, my cousin, is a cross dressing liberal gay man. And they both, at some point or another, have reached out to me to say, "I need to get the hell out of here, man." And they're on my Danish side, and both very Viking. And the song was kind of inspired by their need to escape. You two different kinds of people, but with the exact same problem. You know. I gave you my word in Memphis. I barely paid the fare. In this grand reflection, I can barely breathe the air. And I'm just leaving Texas. And if I live, I'll see you at home. I'm just leaving Texas. And if I live, I'll see you at home. Dallas is burning. The people live in fear. Alamo is desperate. No one's getting out of here. And I'm just leaving Texas. And if I live, I see you at home. I'm just leaving Texas. And if I live, I'll see you at home. Oh, I'm just leaving Texas. And if I live, I'll see you at home. Oh, I'm just leaving Texas. And if I live, I'll see you at home.
Leaving Texas, Kristian Montgomery, everyone. Well, Kristian, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your awesome music with us.
Thanks.
And when you do release something new, let us know, and we'd love to have you back and
I will send it on the way.
yeah, send it over our way. But as for everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, there is no Rocket Shop, but we'll be coming back on the 30th with Emma Cook this month. So a little break in between for the month of April, but we'll be back strong by the end of the month. But as for now, thank you so much for tuning in to Rocket Shop Radio Hour on the Radiator. I'm your host, Abby BK, and we hope you have a wonderful day or night. We'll see you next time.
Yay! Cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Love your stuff.
Not bad.